Hello, guys. You're welcome to this session. And today we are going to be talking about virtual assistant. Who is a virtual assistant and what a virtual assistant does? You're going to agree with me that the word virtual assistant has been coming up for the past 3 to 4 years. Personally, I started as a virtual assistant in the year 2020 after COVID 19. And to God be the glory, I've been virtual assistant for over 5 years. And this role, or let me say this job role known as virtual assistant, it has been evolving significantly because it's different from the early days in which it's only about taking simple administrative support. Today, it represents a dynamic and highly sought after profession, enabling individuals and business to scale operations and increase efficiency as well as access specialized skills remotely. Because you see that a lot of businesses are coming up every day, and imagine a startup that just get funded. You need people to help you to do a lot of things, and as a startup owners, you prefer to get someone that can do your job without having to see that person physically, without having to get yourself an office. You buy a system, you set up the office, and get people hired to work for you. So virtual assistant as a role is a role that has been evolving over the years, and the need for virtual assistant kept increasing. I always tell people, so far we have companies springing up every day. So far we have entrepreneurs bringing new ideas and setting up new businesses. Definitely there will always be a virtual assistant. There will always be a virtual assistant. So what is virtual assistant? A virtual assistant is an independent contractor who provide professional, administrative, technical, or creative assistance to clients remotely. So I want you to get three things. We have the concept of independent contractors, meaning that they are independent, they work independently, they are not under supervision of anybody, meaning that they are not under the supervision of an HR or definitely under the supervision of your company. You give them work to do as a contractor, they do the work as a project, and they submit the work. And at the same time, they work on three major things. Or let me say four major things. They work on administrative task, technical task, creative task, and also marketing tasks. So definitely, virtual assistants fit into different aspects of business. Talking about the marketing aspect, talking about the creative part where you have to create content, you have to design content, you have to make graphic design and do video editing. Also talking about the administrative part, we have to manage inbox, send email, manage calendar, create a travel itinerary or travel management document. So these are things that we expect a typical virtual assistant to be able to do. So it's quite different from the traditional employee where you have to employ them. But for virtual assistant, they are self-employed and they have to be able to carry out the roles and responsibility as required by their clients or by the company that hired them. So, and one of those things that also give advantage to the virtual assistant and also to people that hires is that for the client, you are not going to be responsible to pay any employee-related taxes, insurance, or benefits. So this is a very significant offer for employee. You don't have to rack your brain, just get them hired, pay them depending on the amount that will be agreed on. Maybe it's per hour, you can pay $10 per hour, $5 per hour, $8 per hour, or you can even sum it up to a monthly payment or weekly payment. So what you just need to do is that as a client will look after the number of hours that you are working for them, and at the same time, they want you to be productive. If you are going to spend 3 hours, they want that 3 hours to be productive on their business. They want it to have an effect on their business, a positive effect on their business, on their profitability, on their productivity, and their efficiency. So clients always pay virtual assistant for the time they use, making sure that they spend that time judiciously. You see that if you employ someone like a full-time employee, can spend 8 hours, but out of 8 hours, you can just use 3 hours or 4 hours to be productive. But virtual assistants, there are ways in which they can even track you, get to know what you are doing at every point in time. If you are to spend 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, or more than that. Going forward, what are the core roles and responsibilities of a virtual assistant? We have different roles, we have different responsibility. The roles defines the responsibility. The first role is administrative support. So you look at a typical office where we have the admin officer. We see to what they are doing. The only difference now is that as a virtual assistant, you'll be using the internet to do your work. You're going to be using some software, some tools to carry out your administrative task. And what are those things that you're expected to do, your responsibility? Number one, email and calendar management. It's very normal for you to get hired by a CEO of a company, a top executive officer, and they don't have time to keep their inbox in order, to make their inbox to be arranged. I mean their email to be arranged. So one of the responsibility of an administrative virtual assistant is to make sure the email is well arranged, all messages are well sent, and also you kept to see to where you can find different message in the email inbox. At the same time, a lot of things can be set up like templates, like making sure you label your email to be very sure of where each messages are going to. At the same time, you see to the fact that you manage people's calendar, you see to the event they're having, you see to the meeting they are going to have, you schedule meeting for them, you help them to set up an appointment process. Maybe you are working for a doctor and that doctor needs people to book appointment, virtual appointment. So you'll be responsible to set up a kind of appointment pipeline where people can easily book appointments and they can attend meeting with your client. At the same time, travel arrangement. You don't expect a top executive officer of a company to sit down, be booking tickets for traveling, booking hotels, researching on different airlines, researching on taxis, a lot of things that is involved during traveling. So these are core responsibility of a virtual assistant working administratively. At the same time, we have data entry, document creation, and file organization. A normal physical administrative job, you have to organize your file. You have to have a file cabinet. But for virtual assistants, there are a lot of cloud storage cloud storage tool. Apart from using your normal hard drive, your normal flash, we have cloud storage tools or software like Google Drive, Dropbox, where you can easily organize your file, can easily store them for future reference and use them in the nearest future. The next role is communication and customer service. Should not be surprised as customer service is one of the responsibility of a virtual assistant because they serve as a customer facing employee where they handle inquiries from customers or potential customers. They also help to provide help desk support, like any complaint from customer, they attend to it, and also they manage client communication, seeing to the fact that the clients are well answered and are answered promptly. Because you could imagine that you're using different channels to reach out to your clients. Clients will reach out to you via calls, via email, via social media platform, via chat, like normal chat on your website. So to the fact that a virtual assistant is expected to manage the communication to make sure that the communication is swift, the communication is professional, and also the communication is well attended to and their issues are well solved. Also, you help in conducting research as a communication and customer service virtual assistant. And that roles and responsibility is bookkeeping. It's going to interest you that as a top executive or as a owner or as a business owner, you're going to be having expenses. The amount you spend per day, the amount you spend per week, the amount you spend per month. So this should be well managed. You might not have the time as the executive owner of the business, but hiring your virtual assistant is going to help you to be able to keep tab of your expenses, to be able to track your income, to be able to track your payments, to be able to check your financial record and see to the fact that it's balanced with that of the accountant. You have an accountant working for you and you make your expenses. So when you make expenses, you collect receipt, your virtual assistant will be there to make sure all these expenses are well recorded. There are different tools like Expensifier, like Google Sheets that will be used to enter these expenses to check your income, your money, your payments received, and what have you. So all these things are what you're expected to know as a virtual assistant to be able to do using different tools, keeping basic financial record, managing invoices, keeping invoices, and making sure everything is well arranged. And at the same time, one of the core roles and responsibilities is project management support. You see that as a virtual assistant, you are expected to be able to manage projects. I always tell people project is part of our life because project is whenever you try to make a new endeavor to create a new product or services. So for everything you do is a project. So as a virtual assistant, you expect yourself to be working with a startup. Maybe this startup, they are into AIs and they're trying to come up with a website or build an application. So that's a project. They need you to be able to create and track timelines because project has to do with time of completion, time of starting, budget you're going to use, the human resources you are going to use. So as a virtual assistant, you're going to keep tab of this, making sure you track timelines and each timeline is strictly adhered to. You coordinate task. But task is one of those broken stone of a project. Projects are broken down into tasks. So these tasks are assigned. You are going to make sure you assign it properly. You are going to make sure that you give that person the required amount of time, the required amount of resources, and also you follow up to track their milestone, to track their achievement at every point in time, and also you prepare a kind of progress report at each milestone, the lesson learned, the mistakes, and also the report and the result of the work of each milestone at the end of the day. So those are the core roles and responsibility. I talked about the administrative support, communication and customer service, basic bookkeeping, project management support. So we have different type of virtual assistant because, like I said, it's not only about being an administrative virtual assistant, it's more than administrative work. So we have four major types. We have the administrative VA, technical VA, creative VA, and marketing VA. So the difference is that if you check their responsibility and roles and responsibility, I've talked about the administrative support. We are talking about you managing emails, general office support, calendar management, travel management, scheduling of meeting, data entry, basic research, basic online research. So these are administrative tasks that a virtual assistant does. So a virtual assistant that work as an administrative support person is known as administrative virtual assistant. You have the creative from the word creating things. And that creative means that you do things like content creation, graphic design, graphics creation, and also blog articles, video and audio editing, and multimedia content. For social media, you have to be able to create content, you have to be able to design your graphics, you have to be able to come up with different editing, especially when you are going to make a video content, you have to be able to edit your videos. At the same time, writing of blogs, writing of articles for social media posts, these are part of what a creative virtual assistant means because this has to do with how creative you are judging with the fact that you'll be using some skills and also some tools. But a creative virtual assistant does graphic designing, content creation, video editing, video filming, audio editing, multimedia content, blog posting, and what have you. So we have the technical virtual assistant. So I would like to differentiate one thing. I want to talk about IT support. IT support is just like when you go to a bank and you went to complain that the bank mobile application is not working. The department that is going to help you to do that is the IT support department. It's different from customer service. IT support are going to deal with the technical part of a product or service. So the technical virtual assistant is expected to do the same thing, to deal with technical operational entities in the company, like website management, mobile application management, automation specialist. Imagine some form of automation that occurs on their own when you tend to say to the fact that you visit Jumia, Konga, or AliExpress, you wanted to buy something and you add it to your cart, and at the end of the day, you forgot. So within few hours or few days, you can receive an email, abandoned cart, telling you that you've abandoned some products in your cart. You need to go and patronize or buy them. They can even give you discount. That is a form of automation. So you see that when we have a lot of thousands of people putting things on their cart, they won't be sending this message individually one by one. Automatically, it has been automated. Automation like saying in the next 3 days, anybody that did not buy what they add to the cart, send this message to them. So these are part of what a technical VA does. So they set automation for operational process, for sales process, for marketing process. So we have the marketing virtual assistant, which is the last one. This one has to do with the one marketing part of the business. And this especially the digital marketing part. Digital marketing part, because we're looking at the fact that you being a virtual assistant, as a virtual assistant. So you see that we have under digital marketing, we have skills like social media management, social media marketing. Also, we have skills like email marketing, we have SEO, we have paid campaign management, we have Google Ads, Facebook Ads, and what have you. So these are the core responsibilities of a marketing virtual assistant. You are expected to focus on the marketing process of a company to help them to manage their social media, to help them to run ads on their Facebook, on their Instagram, on their LinkedIn, Google Ads, to help them to set up an email campaign where you send newsletter to customers, to help them to generate leads, to help them to perform search engine optimization functions that makes their website to rank higher in the search engines. So these are different type of virtual assistant that exist. So it depends on which one you feel like you would like to do, but you are going to be able to touch each and every one aspect of this to be a general virtual assistant. Moving forward, so there are some specialized role in virtual assistants. These are quite special, and a lot of persons might not even like get facilitated to see legal virtual assistant or medical virtual assistant. We have the real estate, we have the legal, we have the bookkeeping, and we have the podcast or YouTube VA. And for each of these roles, what makes them to be special is about the skills required. For a lawyer, you have to be a lawyer because before you can be a legal virtual assistant. You have to be an accountant because before you can be a bookkeeping virtual assistant, even to have the minimum experience, good experience in accounting, you have to be a lawyer or have that experience and certification as a lawyer to work as a legal virtual assistant. We have the real estate. This one you might not need to have any special skills, but at the same time, in this aspect, especially in the United States of America, they need a lot of people to work in this sector because it's one of the growing sector in the economy. Real estate, where you have to help business owners to search for property that they can buy. You have to help them to list property that they wanted to sell on website. You have to help them in clear communication and also making property research to look for where they can get different properties to purchase. You have the podcast and YouTube VA, which assist in podcast production, editing of podcast videos, recorded videos, show notes, and also promotion of the podcast for a lot of people to watch it. You know how cool the money coming from YouTube can be. So you can easily hire a virtual assistant to help you to see to the fact that they edit the video and they make the video to go out and be promoted for people to watch so that they can cash out in dollars. So for the legal, you have to be a lawyer. You assist lawyers with case research, because this one needs you to have knowledge about law, about case, coming up with case writing, and this doesn't mean that if you are to work for a virtual for an executive in UK, this doesn't mean that you need to be in UK. No, you just need to be very familiar with everything. Maybe it's a contract law, it's a business law. You need to be familiar with it and help them to write different contracts, help them to write cases, and also help them to do research on cases. So for bookkeeping, I've explained earlier, you have to have a knowledge of accounting, how to balance the payable, the receivable, and every other thing. These are things you need to be very versatile about. Moving forward, you see that I said it earlier that the virtual assistant market is growing because people keep hiring virtual assistants. If you can see, presently in 2025 is around 19.6 billion, the market size of virtual assistant, meaning that people that look for virtual assistant and the amount they pay virtual assistant in total for 2025, it has grown to 19.6 billion. So the market kept growing, and it is projected that by 2029 to be around 80.95 billion. You can see the difference of over 60 billion or 50 something billion. That tells you that if you are a virtual assistant or if you learn virtual assistant, definitely you are going to get things done. The only thing I would just always say, I will always tell people is that learn and be very good. Be very good with different tools, be very good with the processes, be very good with what is going to make you successful. At the same time, you can see that the other growth is very sporadic. From 25 to 30% is growing annually. So I would like to tell you things that are going to make you to be successful as a virtual assistant. And before then, also these are driving factors that make this market to be growing, to make virtual assistant market to be very big in size. Number one, remote work adoption. A lot of people are adopting remote work. A lot of businesses just like to hire people from anywhere in the world and work for them remotely. You are going to be able to save a lot of costs. You are going to be able to see to the fact that you can get access to global talent from anywhere. Also, you are going to see to the fact that you are able to do things without inquiring some cost that is going to affect your productivity or your production cost. So at the same time, outsourcing non-core tasks. Like I said, as an executive or as a business owner, there are things that you should focus on, not focusing on how to manage your inbox, not focusing on how to manage your calendar, not focusing on how to post to social media or how to post, how to create your content, how to design a graphics design. These are things that are non-core task role that you can source it out for another person to do. So because of outsourcing of this type of role, it has made people to demand more virtual assistants. Business delegate a non-essential task to focus on core competencies. At the same time, cost effectiveness and flexibility, I've said this before, thus it reduces overhead cost for business owners. It makes it to be flexible and also on-demand support. And the last one is access to global talent. Yeah, you have people from different parts of the world. So your company can be sitting in Texas, in the United States. You can have talent from India, from Nigeria, from Kenya, from Philippines, from Argentina, from Brazil, from different parts. So these give you the ability to sort a lot of talent and sieve them and take the one that is very good. So these are driving factors that make the market to be quite big and enormous. Now, what are the career opportunities? What are those things that you can do as a virtual assistant? Number one, you can be a freelancer. If as a freelancer you set up your own rate, the amount you want to be charging, $10 per hour, $5 per hour, and also you choose a client you wanted to work with. You can have a client and different clients can tell you that they need this, but you choose that I would like to work with this person. You send your portfolio, you apply to the job, and you tell them the rate, and you get hired. So, and you have platforms that support this freelancing work, like Fiverr or Upwork. This is a job market space where you can get freelancing job. You work for a few months, you work for a few days, few weeks, and you get paid and you are good. Also, you cannot work with a virtual assistant agency. You know, you have people that have a virtual assistant agency where they outsource virtual assistants to businesses. So you can work with them, they can outsource you. If you have a client or a customer that needs a particular skill or a particular virtual assistant, they can just hire you and make you to work for them. So they are going to take the money and pay you. So they just take their own percentage. I think this is quite similar to what Upwork is doing, but the only difference is that on Upwork, the people that wants to source for you are there. You that needs the job also, they just have to interact and talk together. There won't be any middleman directly. Upwork is going to charge you from your payment. Also, the third one, we have the direct hiring, that's remote employee. So as a remote worker, you work for the business full-time or part-time, but you have to be able to benefit from all the other benefits which either the hybrid or the on-site employees also benefit from. Maybe health insurance, maybe taxes, other things. But you have to work with them. It's not on contract. You are quite stable. You know that you work for 2 months and go. You're quite stable, just like a normal job, but it's quite remote. The last one is entrepreneurship. You can learn virtual assistant and decide to be an entrepreneur, decide to have your agency, decide to have your own business and make things to work for yourself and hire people to work for a lot of companies. Now, what are the traits for success? You have to learn quickly. That's learning agility. Learn quickly because you can have two different clients. Their process will be quite different. You have to be able to learn their process and adapt to those processes as quick as possible. You have to be able to learn tools. You might be very good in using Google Calendar, but not Calendly. So your client might say is using Calendly. So you have to be able to learn quickly and know how to use different tools and different technologies. Number two, you have to be reliable and trustworthy. Nobody is going to give you access to their inbox if you are not trustworthy, if you are not reliable. For the fact that you are going to be managing people calendar, helping them to set up events and scheduling time for them, definitely you have to be reliable. They have to depend on you that this guy will have done this and I didn't need to worry myself. So this is part of the reliability. Your consistency in delivering high quality work is part of reliability. It's part of what creates trustworthiness and what makes them to trust you. Time management and organization. You want to manage people time, you have to have a time management skills. You want to help them to schedule calendars. You want to tell them that at this social time you are going to have a meeting. You have to be able to help them to prioritize their task such that the most important one are attended to, especially urgent and important tasks are attended to. Some tasks are urgent, they are not important. Some are important and they are not urgent, and some are not even urgent or important. So there should be prioritization in those tasks, and also you help them to organize and make sure they meet deadlines for what they need to meet, for the deadline that they need to meet. And also you too as a person, as a virtual assistant, you have to meet deadlines. If they give you 3 days to work on project, you have to use those 3 days and work. So you have to be self-disciplined about managing your time. Communication skills and adaptability. Communication is very important. Let them know at every point in time what you are doing, what you are stuck in, or what you are stuck on, like the challenges that you have presently, for them to be able to solve it and tell them the issues that you are trying to solve that is making you to get delayed on some duties, on some roles and responsibilities that you're expected to do. Adaptability. Definitely, you have to be able to shift to different client needs. What they need is quite different. Two clients will need different things, so you should be able to adapt to their needs and also the change in any project that you'll be doing. So as a takeaway, it is well established that virtual assistant is growing. The market is growing. It's expanding rapidly with diverse opportunity. You can be a social media manager as a virtual assistant. You can be a lead generation as a virtual assistant. You can be an email marketer as a virtual assistant. You can be an administrative assistant, executive assistant. So these are different diverse roles that is under virtual assistant industry. Also, essential skills, either soft or hard skills. The soft skills like communication, problem solving, adaptability, reliability, trustworthiness are what you need to possess to be a successful virtual assistant. At the same time, you have to be able to leverage on AIs and specialization for long-term growth. People always say that AI is here to take their job, but I always argue that the fact that no, If you are very good, if you are very smart, you are going to use AI to get more jobs and work effectively. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the other class. Bye.